Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to go over the 4.4 lesson work with charts and objects. This is just an intro video. We're going to talk a little bit about charts and objects and how to create it in Excel. I'm going to kind of go over this teacher lesson here just as an intro to how we go about navigating this, right? So actually, let me go ahead and bring this over. Go ahead and make this larger. Okay, so this is one of the solutions for the try it out section. But I'm gonna go over this right now and just kind of talk a little bit through this um, before you do the assignment. So as we're looking through this worksheet, as you can see, we've got four different charts, or four different charts and four different sets of data: pink, green, yellow, and blue. In this case, if I were to ask you, what's the point, right, of having these charts? Uh, the answer is that if we were just look at these tables here, it'd be hard to kind of get any information out of it. You'd have to look closely at it. You have to think through it a lot. But if when we have these charts here, that makes it more visually appealing. It also makes it a lot easier to understand this data. And so if I were to ask you the question, which product showed the most growth in January, what would you say? I mean, if you're just looking at if you were to choose between these data tables or these charts to answer that question, which products had the most growth in January? If you were just looking at these tables, it'd be hard to kind of figure out because you've got to go through all these numbers. But just by looking at these charts here, uh, most in January, we could see right away that would be sneakers. And that same would be true in the month of February. Right away, we could see the blue charts lead us to that right away. So a couple things as we're thinking about charts as well. We've got different types of charts. Again, this one here, we've got a pie chart, right? These compares to like a whole. We've got column charts, which allow us to kind of compare data over time or across different sets of values. In this case, we're comparing like sneakers, basketballs, t-shirts, and baseball hats during the month of January. And then the more you get this, you can expand this out. You have different months, but you can compare that across months as well. You have line graphs, which allow you to see trends over time, right? What happens over time. And then same thing, we've got this, again, column chart here. Um, and we can see in total sales, right? What makes up this total for sneakers, how that was sold. You know, the majority of this one was internet, was probably the most sales, right, for sneakers. So again, charts allow us to analyze data a lot easier in a different format. And I also want to show you, see if I can pull this up, right? Here are different types of charts, right? We've got our column charts again, comparing different sets of data. We've got our line chart, which really allows us to see trends, whether it's growing or decreasing over time. A pie chart allows us to look at as a whole what makes up the most of this 100%, this whole that we've got here. Bar charts, again, allow us to do this comparison, similar to the column, just across amounts and time. Area charts kind of, again, chart growth over time, and it's a little bit more visually um, easier to see as we're thinking about totals here. Again, and this is a new type. I don't use this one too much with a surface type, but again, you can see this kind of indicates trends. It also indicates types of data as well. But the colors, the images, they all add to allowing us to make sense of data a little bit better. So, in these lessons coming up, you're going to be creating charts. So you're just going to be using some of these data tables, and then you're going to go to the insert, and you're going to go ahead into this chart section, and then just be able to create charts on your own. And so you'll learn that in the lessons coming up. One thing that I did want to bring to your attention, we've also got, let's see here, as we're creating charts, there are certain information that is translated. So like, for example, this green table here, we created a chart for that. And notice this data was transformed into this chart, but you kind of have to understand the different labels that go with this. Um, as you can see, we've got our y-axis and our x-axis here. X is always going to be the horizontal, and y is going to be the vertical. We've got our chart title here and the chart type, which is a clustered column. But then you notice this y-axis has number labels here, goes by every increments of 200. And we've got this x-axis here are product types: sneakers, basketballs, t-shirts, and baseball hats. And that's what you'll see over here. So we'll go over this in the lesson, but just to know that and be familiar with some of this vocabulary. We've got data labels as well, with the amounts, and a legend is kind of a little guide or a key to making sense of some of the colors and the data that we've got here. All right, but that's it. We'll go ahead and jump into the lessons. Thanks, everyone.